seen. The kindly woman who stood beside her had laughed too, both of them pointing to the herring that had caught itself in his belt, its silvery tail flapping. Gavin could have felt embarrassed, but instead he had merely shrugged and laughed with them, and pulled out the fish and offered it with a flourish to Cora. Cora Campbell. He had learned her name later, too, and of her high rank at the stronghold as the chieftain's first cousin, but it wasn't chafing at his own lesser status that had made Gavin decide then and there to become a warrior. He had wanted to be closer to her, and living the life of a fisherman would only keep him out at sea but for his twice-weekly trips to the stronghold. Even earning the nickname of Trout from his fellow warriors didn't deter him. Within 5 months, Gavin's strapping size and impressive skill with the sword had earned him a promotion from manning the palisade to a guard in the chieftain's hall. Gavin had lived and breathed to see her, which was often enough when Rory's closest family members gathered together for meals. Her furtive glances in his direction making his heart pound, the delicate pink blush of her cheeks making him certain that her heart raced too. So it continued for weeks, his frustration growing that they had not found a chance to speak to each other, until one day, as if by a miracle, her lady's maid sought him out near the barracks with a message. "The chapel at noon. Meet my mistress there." If he had thought his heart pounded before, nothing could have prepared him for the emotion of finally seeing Cora face to face and alone, but for her maid waiting a discreet distance away. Cora's gaze darting from the chapel entrance, as if she feared at any moment they might be discovered, and back to his face, half cloaked in shadow from where they stood together near a side altar. The air tinged with the pungent smell of incense, and something else, aye, the heady scent of damask roses. The memory of her perfume was so vivid that Gavin felt as if it were yesterday, making him pound his clenched fist against the ship railing. The memory of her soft lips pressed to his in the sweetest first kiss, filling him with such longing that he could scarcely breathe. A kiss made all too brief when they had been startled apart by a priest appearing at the front altar. God forgive him, Gavin could have throttled the man. Cora had fled toward the entrance while he had waited in the shadows until he felt it was safe to leave unnoticed. So they had managed to see each other on nearly a dozen occasions over the next few months, each meeting more precious than the one before. Yet the last time she came to him, something had changed. Cora had seemed tenuous and fearful, her slender body tense when he had taken her in his arms and whispered against the delicate curve of her ear. "Marry me, Cora. Be my bride." Her refusal had come swiftly, too swiftly, as if she had sensed beforehand what he intended to say. Then her tears, her trembling, and she was gone from him. His arms empty, and her words echoing like a death knell in his brain. He had left the chapel after their final meeting believing that he would never see Cora again. His heart filled with hatred for the Campbells. Hatred for those that he believed had forced her into acquiescing to a marriage to Earl Shorris MacDougall, a man known to be as ruthless as he was rich and powerful. No, it couldn't have been simply for clan and honor that Cora had become another man's bride. Some coercion and treachery had to have been afoot, for as soon as Gavin had headed for the barracks, a host of his fellow warriors, grim-faced, had flanked him with their weapons drawn and escorted him instead to the stronghold gates. The one he had thought to be a friend, Blair Campbell, hissing in his ear. "Did you think no one would ever notice what you've been about, man? What have you to offer the chieftain's own cousin? Nothing. She's pledged to wed another, a powerful alliance for our clan, and not the likes of you, Trout. Find yourself a fisherman's daughter to keep you warm, and dinna ever come back if you want to live." The man's words, the